exactly the definition he uses in his speeches. But as you can see, the whole definition, I think, says something entirely different. It says that it's been intentionally left out to make his point, I think. The key components, what I think, in religion, and why most people choose a religion, he left those out. A belief in a higher power, supernatural controlling force, moral code, redemption, ritual, all of those things are left out. And he just focuses on that one thing, the how we got here. Now, yeah, evolution does attempt to explain how we got here. But evolution does not talk about, does not attempt to answer why we are here. I don't think it answers where we are going to go after we die. You mentioned that. I don't think it does. And it does not subscribe, it definitely does not subscribe to a superhuman agency or agencies. It doesn't do that. That's the full definition of religion. It doesn't offer moral judgment or redemption. Evolution is not a religion. It's a fact. Just like gravity is a fact, just like 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a fact, it has been tested, it's been proven. The general concepts of evolution and Darwin's theory of natural selection have been with us for 150 years. These concepts do not claim to be supernaturally supernaturally derived or handed down from an omnipotent creator. They are derived from human study and research and observation and testing. It is built on the strength of independent, repeatable research of thousands of scientists from a variety of fields all over the world for 150 years. And what we now have is a result of that ongoing work. Eric's creation science and intelligent design in general, by comparison, are fairly new, only a few decades old. Creation science and intelligent design did not exist as a concept prior to the development of scientific evolutionary theory. In fact, they are reactions to the progress of science. But precious little of what Eric will be preaching is even in the Bible. God's divine word does not include anything about natural selection, speciation, geological phenomena, the formation of the Grand Canyon, RNA or DNA molecules. The Bible includes absolutely zero scientific fact beyond what was general knowledge 2,000 years ago.
See if I can do this as well as he does. Okay, first, we'll start out with John. A platypus, ladies and gentlemen. If you listen to what this guy has to say, first you start with a rock. And somewhere down the line, that rock evolutions into a reptile, bird, and some kind of a gorilla there. And that's what you got. Now one day, the snake, the chicken, and the gorilla get together and they watch a season of the L Word, drink a whole box of Merlot. 6 months later, bam, you've got yourself a platypus. Now, I know that sounds a bit simplistic. I gotta confess, I tried to read Darwin's Origin of Species, found it was way too complicated, so I gave up and decided to use the Dr. Dino method of explaining scientific theories that I don't understand and don't intend to actually learn about. Now, I had my crack research team over at Carbohydrate Science Evangelism headquarters put together a quick graphical depiction of the process of natural selection. We used forks and knives and spoons. We even had this lame joke involving a sport being the missing link. But we realized that it was a false analogy because dinnerware, much like computers, watches, and Boeing 777s, don't actually reproduce. They're inorganic. Now, I talk all about false analogies and how to use them to confuse people into thinking you're knowledgeable on a subject that you are, in fact, entirely ignorant of in part 3 of my lecture series, available online at Cash Rules Everything Around Me, free. Get the money, $dollar.com. Now, I'll stop beating up on Don for just a moment because, frankly, he doesn't get paid anywhere near as much as I do to come up with this crap to tell you guys. I'll shift my focus to Mr. Hovind. Now, when I found out that I was going to be in a three-way with my mentor, I was tickled pink. Mr. Hovind, I really hope you know how much I admire you and your father's business model. As you can see, I took a few pages out of your book. Minus the whole section on tax law for obvious reasons. Now, please understand that while we may use similar methods, I'll never be competition for you because we're selling entirely different forms of religion. And anyway, they say imitation is flattery, right? Back to the platform. Now, if you listen to Mr. Hovind, you've essentially got to accept that this funny-looking creature here was created in its whole form just after the invention of the human being, but just before the invention of fear. And this brings about an obvious question. Respectfully, my Christian friends, Yahweh isn't exactly known for his sense of humor. From floods to plagues, we know he's vengeful. And from Saul to Paul, we know he's forgiving, and even gets into the zombie horror genre a little bit with Lazarus. So folks, there isn't a phrase in the Bible that would make you chuckle. And you're telling me that God, with no sense of humor, came up with this thing. I talked about finding one hole in a complicated process that's vastly misunderstood by most people, and exploiting that hole in conjunction with your audience's personal relationship with a given deity to part them from their money on my website at capitals everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, yes, folks, we are offering holiday discounts. So, what kind of a God could make such a thing? How about one with its own beer volcano? Now, flying spaghetti monster. I understand that Pastafarianism isn't for everyone, and a bunch of scientists are going to be all like blah blah blah. I don't even know what they're saying because I'm not educated enough to understand it. The fact is that this is some seriously sellable stuff. Ever heard of global warming? Pastafarian teaches that the Earth was once completely populated by pirates. Now, we're not talking about the angry, Somalian kinds you see sometimes in the news, but more like the sexy pornographic kind that you can rent from such fine establishments as Gold Club Centerfolds and or my website at capitals everything around me. Get the money $1,000,000,000.com. If you like, you can spell that out. Okay, now the point here is that I have a sciencey-looking graph that clearly shows the proportion of pirates to the overall global temperature. Now, as you can see, the decline in his newliness has chosen people either positively or negatively. I'm not sure. I didn't take stats, but it's definitely correlated. Further proving that the flying spaghetti monster is angry at us and definitely wants us to dress up. So you can purchase all forms of pirate gear and any kind of booty at my website, capitals everything around me, cream, get the money, $1,000,000,000.com. Thank you, and please use carbohydrate science evangelism for all your evangelism needs.
Wonderful job, Mike. Well, we all need a little bit of humor injected. Our Stephen Colbert mentality is great. I love that. I appreciate the sarcasm. CreationScienceEvangelism.com, where yes, you can get all kinds of great resources, including some incredibly good DVDs that are not even copyrighted, so you can give them away to other people. Cool. Just not copyrighted?
Yes,
It is.
absolutely.
A couple things. First of all, God has no sense of humor, but he did make Mike. That makes me laugh, so I'm sure it makes you laugh too. Obviously, there is a God. Here's the problem, and as Don was talking, he said several things. He said creation is baseless. I'm trying to redefine science. Think about evolution here for a second. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have the funny hat, the funny presentation to make you guys laugh. But if we're talking serious stuff, if we're talking at the end of this life, everybody dies, right? You guys already heard that statistic, 10 out of 10 die. You guys heard that one before, yeah? Everybody's going to die, all right? I'm going to die one day. I'm going to try to make it the last thing I ever do. But it's actually going to happen. So if we're all going to die, the question is what's going to happen next? And if that is a real sincere, serious question,